Simone Biles. Oh, it's like if the Chinese gotten to her too. The little gymnast, Simone Biles. I mean, she's an accomplished gymnast for sure. I mean, gold medals in the whole 9 yards. Well, she's decided to take on Riley. Forgive me. Terrible slip. Forgive me. Riley Gaines. She's taken on Riley Gaines. Poor Lake and Riley. God bless her soul. I mean, she's partly why we're seeing what's going on out there in California. Anyway, Simone Biles is this wonderful gymnast, right? Who probably could have used a little more education. All right, I'll just say it. She needed a little more education. I don't know if she finished 7th grade, really. She did something from home. Because, she was so talented at the vault and those other, cartwheels and things that she was doing that she had to focus on her gymnastics. And so she did not focus on school. And so she doesn't necessarily know the difference between XX chromosomes and XY chromosomes. And somehow she thinks it's perfectly fine for men and women to compete in sports together. This was great. So I saw this the other day and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is her going off on Riley. She said, Riley Gaines, you're truly, it's kind of a mean tweet too, like not very not very much of the stature of somebody who's a gold medalist, but she said, you're truly sick. All this campaigning because you lost a race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bully them. One thing is for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. I should add that she was also doing a speech actually at one of the universities recently, a commencement speech, where she suggested that they have totally co-ed gymnastics because she could win in co-ed gymnastics. So I got a kick out of this because clearly what she doesn't seem to understand is that there is a difference between men and women and their muscular capacity, right? There just is. Sorry, you might have missed that class. I get it. You didn't go to a whole lot of classes, Simone. But Riley said, this is actually so disappointing. It's not my job or the job of any woman to figure out how to include men in our spaces. You can uplift men stealing championships in women's sports with your platform. Men don't belong in women's sports. And I say that with my full chest. A real one. Right? Why are we even talking about this, right? Like, how is this even an issue? The trans community used to be like 0.001% of the population. Now all of a sudden everybody's trans and everybody wants to compete in women's sports. And I'm sitting here going, I don't get it. Like, I really, 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 really don't get it. I can understand, okay, maybe you have your issues and, I'm sensitive to that. And maybe you have some mental health challenges or maybe, I don't know. But do you really want to compete in women's sports? Like, pick and choose. Like, isn't there something else you can do? Like, really? Women's sports. Now, what's funny about how Simone is framing this is that she seems to think, guys, that she would beat a man in gymnastics. Now, I'm just going to say this. I think she's conflating a whole lot of things. I think she's conflating sort of men and women. And I also think that she is conflating the sports themselves, right? Because gymnastics, actually, you have an advantage. If you're tiny and small, but lean and muscular, right? Really, really muscular, but you're teeny, then that actually goes a long way. And so that helps you. But in swimming, clearly that's not the case. Like in swimming, you want to be big. And having that extra muscle capacity is really worth it. So my takeaway was, gosh, we got to do a better job educating our athletes, for goodness sakes. The NCAA is now paying them. You can go to college, and we can talk about it another day. I actually have some mixed views on that because I think colleges have gotten a ton out of so many students that really shouldn't be in school. And so let's just call it what it is. It's a business. So fine, pay them, but do they even have to be in school, I guess? Maybe these college sports, whole other discussion for another day and time. But I would say this, Simone did not get much of an education. She doesn't understand basic biology. She doesn't understand even the differences in her own sports. And there you have it. I mean, you also got to wonder how much the Chinese, in a way, contributed to this. I mean, if this is all part of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and you have all these agendas being pushed by people like this guy who's created this web of Chinese propaganda, like how much of this is them trying to force their position onto everyone? I think it's kind of a fair and important question to be asking right about now, don't you? Don't you? I mean, wow. But you know what the good news is? And this is what I always go back to, and this is why I am so glad to have my foundation as a business reporter, as somebody who really understands what's at stake. I'm just gonna remind you of my own company that I started. I'm looking at the Dow up 0.25%. I'm looking at the S&P 500 up 0.4%, NASDAQ up 0.3%. You know, look, oil moving a tad higher, but oil's come down so significantly. I think the moral of the story here is the US is in a very, very good position economically. So even when you see all this craziness going on, even when you see what's happening in the streets, even when we have to worry about whether China's behind this or not, or whether you have some kind of federal breakdown, you really don't. Like, it's actually kind of a lot of noise because the markets are telling you, the markets are very firmly telling you, hey, gold's lower today, right? So it's risk, they're not as concerned with risk. If they were, they'd be buying up gold, but no, they're buying up equities because they're making a bet on the US of A and they're making a bet on Donald Trump. And it's a bet that I think you should make. I know Rob's going to kill me because I'm showing you the wrong portfolio here for the wrong month. But basically, go check out our 76 portfolios because there's just a lot of information in there. Really, really tremendous upside that we've seen in so many of our stocks. You get 5 to 10 stocks in each one of these things. So it's just wonderful to see. I should also let you know that we got a wonderful note from one of our, you can get all 3 portfolios, by the way, as a Founders Club member. And one of our Founders Clubs members today said, thank you so much because I've been able to actually make a lot of money, a lot of money on you guys, thanks to all of your recommendations. And I'm telling you, this is what it's there for. And I think it can probably make a whole lot more.
Amazing what a rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, it's a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You're going to see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion of investment and jobs, and great companies are coming in.
Great companies are coming in. Good stuff. I mean, I like it. Hey, you know what else is good? Top 100, top 100. We're climbing. It gets harder, though, as you keep climbing, right? Because you get more scrutiny and all this, that, and the other. So, we were just going gangbusters. What were we, like 7,000 new subs a day? It's gotten a little tricky. We're down to like 700 new subs a day. So I'm asking for your help. Please do what you can. Spread the word. This is the podcast to be listening to, really and truly, for truth and for measured truth. It's not out of control. It's fair. I think we provide that kind of nuance. Somebody said to me the other day, oh my gosh, Trish, why do you have to keep showing me these clips from MSNBC or CNN? And I'm like, you know what? We need to do that because we need to understand what the other side is saying. And you need to understand when they're blowing it out of proportion or when they're wrong. And then simultaneously, when we're wrong too, we call that out. I think that you just need fairness in this media circle right now. So many of you have responded to that here on this show because that is what we deliver every single day. Don, is it 842? Really? We've got 842,000. I think it just crossed over, right? From 841 to 842. It's just amazing. And David Lorenzo, thank you for the kind words. Peace of my mind is always here. And he's like, the chat is where it's at. The chat. You guys have to hit the bell when you subscribe because that way you know exactly when I am live. It is wonderful to have you. Thank you for all you do. And we're back live again right here tomorrow.